Muskan Garg, a student of HMR Institute of Technology and Management, and today I'm going to share my machine learning project which is based on the algorithm linear regression. The name of my project is Boston House Price Prediction Dataset, which is a very famous dataset present in the dataset library of sklearn. It is a supervised and a continuous dataset so that we can easily apply linear regression on it. I have learned this from the Sci-Fi Labs, so let's get into the coding part of it. Whenever we work on a machine learning project, we have to import some important libraries like pandas, numpy, and matplotlib. Pandas and numpy is for the data and array manipulation, while the matplotlib is for the data visualization. As the data is present in the sklearn library, so we are importing some very important function from the sklearn so that to avoid heavy coding. As the data is available in the importing function, so we don't have to download it, we can directly load it using the load statement. And in the next statement, I am going to have a described version of my data for which I am using DESCR function. And when I run it, you can see I got the described version of my data, which says that it has number of instances 506 and 13 columns, and each column is completely defined here. The next step is to put the data in pandas data frame manner so that we can use different pandas function. To do that, I am using pd.dataframe function and going to have the column same as the Boston feature column. And when I print it, you can see I got the data frame of my Boston house data, which says that I have 506 rows and 13 columns. The next data present in Boston house is the target, which is a price column. And I'm going to put that also in data frame using the same function. And when I print it, I got the target data frame. Here I'm using a simple max function just to get the maximum value of target column, which is 50, and the minimum, which is 5. The next most important step is to concatenate both the features and the target data frame. And to do so, I am using pd.concat function of pandas. Axis is equals to 1 shows that we are going to concatenate our data in column-wise manner. And when I print it, you can see now our column are having one more column, which is a target. As we have got our combined and concatenated data frame, we are going to have the described version of each column and target value. And to do so, I am using df.describe function. The describe function gives some parameters, which is count, minimum, a standard deviation, mean, and different percentiles and the maximum values. Now the percentile is in machine learning is simply shows that how many of data which is used in static indicating the values below which a given percentage of observation in a group of observation falls into. In this case, we can see the maximum observation are falling under the 75 percentile. As we are using the linear regression, so we have to find out the correlation. Correlation in machine learning or in general is a statistical technique that can show whether and how strongly the pairs of variables are related. And to do so, I am here using Pearson correlation. You can use any correlation of your own choice. And to do so, I am using core, which is the panda variable. Then going to have absolute value of correlation of each attribute to the target value. And then list and zip all the values into the list. And then to sort the list in reverse manner. And then I plot the graph of attribute versus the correlation with the target variable. You can see the attribute LSTAT is having the maximum correlation with the target variable, and CHAS is having the least correlation. It simply says that the most independent is LSTAT and the target variable is depending the most on LSTAT. So now I am going to put all the LSTAT values in the x-axis and all the target values and y in the y-axis. And when I print the first 5 values of both, you can see. But we can see that the data is pretty much scattered. Some is at 4, some is at 9. So it's not a good practice. And to do so, we are using normalization of data. The normalization of data is to set the value of column in a specific range so as to avoid the outliers. And to do so, I am using the min-max scalar function, which is present in the sklearn library, which will transform, or you can say reshape, our data within the defined range. Now I am defining the range here within the -1 to 1. You can define any range of your own choice. And after doing so, when I print, you can see the data is less scattered now. It's not having any negative value as the data is having only positive values in it. The second step in linear regression is to split the data. Generally, we split the data in three orders: the training, the validation, and the testing data. But this is a continuous data, so we don't have to split it into the validation. We can simply split it into the train and the test. And to do so, I'm using the sklearn function train trace split, giving the parameter x, y, and the test size is equals to 0. Test size is equals to 0 shows that 20% of our data is going to be the test data only, and the remaining 80% is going to be the train data. The next step is to find the gradient descent. And to find the gradient descent algorithm, we have to find the three very important functions, which is the cost function, the update function, and the gradient descent function. Now the purpose of cost, or you can say error function, is to calculate the cost function at current position, and the parameters given are m, x, c, and t. The purpose of update function is to calculate gradient and to update m and c, while the purpose of gradient descent function is to apply gradient descent on the cost function and to obtain the best fit values of m and c. You must be confused with m and c, but whenever we use linear regression, the hypothesis is stick to y is equals to mx plus c, where m is our slope and c in the intercept. And then I am going to initialize all of our values. Init is equals to 0.9, init is c is equals to 0, learning rate is equals to 0.001. Always remember that your learning rate should be less than the 0.025. And the error threshold is 0.001. You can see that there is a special function which is percentile time, which is known as the magic function in Jupyter Notebook, which is used to get the wall time that is taken by the cell to get executed. And in this case, this is 159 ms. After doing all this and combining all the functions, we can plot the data, and you can see. Moving further, we are going to plot the regression curve upon training data. And for that, I'm going to plot the data into x and y. Now y is equals to mx plus c. You can see this is our linear regression line. It's always a good practice if your line is passing through the most dense area of the graph, as you can see here. The next step is to plot the error values. And to do so, I am using np.arrange numpy function, giving the x label to be iteration and the y label is error. If you get your graph in a decreasing manner, that is that you are going correct. The next step is to calculate the prediction on testing data, for which the hypothesis is y is equals to mx plus c. Now I want to check the error. For that, I am going to use the mean squared error sklearn function, in which I am passing the parameters test and predicted. And you can see the error is 0.014, which is quite less. Now, the next step is to put the test, y-test, predicted values into the single dataset. And when I print it, I'm zipping all them together. And when I print it, you can see that this is our values, this is the target values, and this is the new predicted values. And you can see that there is not a very much difference between the target and the predicted value. Now, we are going to plot predicted value against the target value. And you can see the graph here. If you remember, we normalized our data so as to obtain the data into a given range. But now, as we have got the predicted values, so it's a good practice to get the data in the same unit as it was in before. In Boston House, it was in the $1,000. And to do that, I'm going to do revert normalization to obtain the predicted price of house in the same unit as it was in before. And to do so, I am using inverse transform sklearn function. Now, p.hat is a function of Panda which is going to give you the first 5. By default, as we have not given it any parameter, so by default it will print the first 5 values of the data frame for us. and you can see the predicted value is now in the same unit. So that's it with the project. Thank you so much.